Kusampala, you're watching Bhutan This Week with me, Kulaute Guragai. Our main stories this week. Government projects the country's GDP for 2021 to increase to 4%. Education Ministry to prepare youth to become active and contributing citizens through Adolescent Skills and Employability project. And BOC launches Safe Sports policy to prevent harassment and abuse against athletes and sports officials. The government is projecting that the country's GDP for 2021 will increase to 4%. Finance Minister Namgyet Singh said that the country's economy is recovering. The ministry said the agriculture sector and the construction sector's contribution improved, leading to an expansion of the GDP. As per the National Statistics Bureau, GDP dropped to a negative 10% in 2020.
다 산남기 배워진 대난기 통기 용부디 산남기 카톨레 대배주기 야팔로 가dem치기 펜토노 소시 녀마 남론이 동 지양하기 녀마 바신 자실레 자양하디치기 거기 디나로 제단기 배주기 야팔로 펜미톨라 대 대비기 로니노가 저기 대츠차시던 디베다우돌로 디기베 옆지 자실레 자 주구구제 지세슈미 다 조튼레디 배워진 남론이 동 개치치 레고존 디베뱅아치 조튼레디나로 대남스미 슈텐 수치라 다니 보도로 때다도 수직 기업달로 대치디 대시텐시디 고마라 조튼레디기베 당아치 페이지로 당아치 여기 라디 아타 할루베 대 베수발레 텐디베 디돔다치디기 펜토수지.
To enhance public service delivery and improve operational efficiency, the Ministry of Labour and Human Resources has developed a new integrated system. The new system brings together the already existing information management systems of the ministry under one frame. The Management Information System, or MIS system, was launched last week.
The ministry first took its services online in 2006. This system was enhanced using feedback from its users. The new system consists of 4 major services. The first one is the employment system for job seekers and employers. The foreign workers management system will collect information of the foreign workers which can be accessed by their employers as well as the government offices. The labor administration system caters to services such as checking whether things are in compliance with the rules and acts. People can also file complaints or even carry out self-inspections. And the TVET system captures the whole process from submitting institute proposals and registration to the announcement of training and enrollment of trainees.
It has enhanced the features on the current system. For example, the employers who require the foreign workers can apply on the system, giving the details of all the foreign workers that they are requesting for, and this same form will then go to the Department of Immigration and also the Department of Labour. So it cuts down the duplication of having to submit the same form and documents to 2 different agencies.
She added that an integrated system will address the issue of not having consistent reports and data. The development of the new MIS was carried out in 2 phases and began in 2020. For Chunidema, this is Pemal Hardin, BBS News.
Druk Tendril Sokpa submitted its registration application to the Election Commission on Thursday. As per the Election Act of Bhutan 2008, an application for registration of a political party shall be made to the Election Commission within 1 month of the formation of the party. The party had their first convention earlier this month. The ECB will now review the application before declaring it a political party. For now, the country has 4 registered political parties.
Once we get the approval from the Election Commission of Bhutan as per the regulations, rules and regulations, then we will be in the position to, with their permission, to introduce all the political our ideologies as well as the values and all the candidates who we feel we have one of the best teams that we have put together.
The National CSI Development Bank in Paro is temporarily withholding new loan sanctions. The bank recorded over 11% non-performing loans in March this year. Since the bank's NPL exceeds the NPL tolerance limit of 5%, Royal Monetary Authority asked the bank to stop lending money until further notice.
Non-performing loans are loans with payments that are overdue by 91 days or more. National CSI Development Bank's NPL has been increasing, which raises concern about the bank's financial stability. As of December last year, the bank had NPL of over 5%, and by March this year, it reached to over 11%. The bank loaned over 630 million UTM to the agriculture sector, some 780 million UTM to the livestock sector, and almost 400 million UTM to the manufacturing and production sector. Of these, the manufacturing and production sector recorded the highest NPL.
The manufacturing and production sector has almost 15% NPL. Of course, we have NPL in agriculture and livestock as well. We loan up to 10 million UTM for clients in manufacturing and production sector, whereas in agriculture and livestock, the ceiling is only about 500,000. This is why we think the NPL is higher in the manufacturing and production sector.
He said the pandemic affected the performance of the manufacturing and production sector, delaying loan repayment. However, as businesses pick up due to the gradual easing of COVID-19 restrictions, the bank hopes the people to repay their loans.
The economy is opening up now. Now we're getting the laborers are coming in. We're getting materials. We're getting equipments. I'm sure this freeze is not going to be for too long. So as they have already said, it's just a temporary freeze. So we are very optimistic that it's going to be opened and then carry the business as usual.
The bank has opened additional branch offices across the country to improve loan repayment. The bank also accepts repayment through other financial institutions. Since its inception in 2020, the CSI Development Bank has provided loan of over 2 billion UTM to more than 6,200 clients. For Namgyeonchu, this is Sangi Chazom for BBS News.
In keeping with the ongoing education reform initiatives, the Education Ministry, in partnership with the Youth Development Fund, Lodin Foundation and UNICEF Bhutan, launched the Adolescent Skills and Employability project last week. The project is expected to equip adolescents and youth with skills to become lifelong learners and positively engage in their communities, among others. Her Royal Highness Princess Jimmy Yangzom Orchuk graced the launch.
Initially, the project will be rolled out in 64 schools and 10 youth centers selected by the project committee. The project will prepare at least 10,000 young people with technical skills, entrepreneurial mindset, and 21st century skills through various programs.
We started this project in the school because it helps us, especially the youth, to have those transferable skills, 21st century skills through this project. So the idea is where students, they see the issues in the community, then they try to use those ideas and then solve the problems in the community. And then through solving this problem, they also pitch ideas.
There's two platforms that we're going to be offering. One is social entrepreneurships, getting young people to focus on what they can do in their communities through the schools and through the youth centres and change some of the problems that they're seeing in their communities. And then there's another project which is focusing on digital skills. So how can people learn to work in a digital world, learn how to engage in digital projects as well.
The project will prepare adolescents and youth to become active and contributing citizens as envisioned by His Majesty the King.
gadimchibe ngara lobin chungi ba thake ma subdo chibo chmola da ngara gi chona chi gochu sube wala da chona di gochu subda ngarlu pento machela jimile layogi kangil layogi gokapchi jin sube wala de layogi gokap jimdara da layogi kangil di seung memola.
From 64 schools, the Education Ministry will select and award cash prizes to the 12 best ideas by the end of this year. For Karma Wangdi, this is Pemal Harden, BBS News.
The country will soon have a national policy for senior citizens for the welfare of elderly persons. Among many aspects, the policy will focus on meeting the fund requirement of the Royal Society for Senior Citizens to plan initiatives for the elderly people. The public benefit organization is currently challenged with a lack of consistent funding.
It is projected that there are more than 73,000 senior citizens in the country. This is as per the Population and Housing Census of Bhutan 2017. Some of them encounter numerous challenges without caregivers. To inspire senior citizens to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives, the Royal Society for Senior Citizens was formed in 2011 by a group of retired civil servants upon royal command. However, members of the organization said that without funding, it has become difficult for the organization to conduct events focused on the well-being of the country's senior citizens. Today, they manage funds through membership fees and donations. Every year, some 300 members contribute about 1,800 Newton each to plan events.
If this drafting committee can approach the financial institutions and the BPC and Hydro project to consider at least 0.1% of their profit and as a social corporate responsibility and give to the senior citizen. Our senior citizen means by name senior citizen, but they are all your parents.
The government has been helping senior citizens in the country, but as the number of senior citizens grows, so does the cost. So, if the government could provide a trust fund for senior citizens, we will not have to rely on others. This will help in future too.
The Gross National Happiness Commission, which is working on the national policy for senior citizens, said there is a pressing need for them to come up with such policy. The policy can provide senior citizens with services based on needs. The office said the policy will also cover the financial aspect as well.
With this policy, we are going to solve not only social and economic aspects, but then all other aspects like environmental aspects and others. This will provide a guidance guideline for all the stakeholders, all the players in this respect, and I believe this policy will provide us a roadmap whereby each sector can play a role.
Meanwhile, the office is expecting to launch the policy in October this year, coinciding with the International Day of Older Persons. The Commission is drafting the policy in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Royal Society for Senior Citizens with funding support from the United Nations Population Fund. To this effect, they had a consultation meeting yesterday. Pimbasaldun Singh, PBS News.
The much-awaited Dalbari-Dagapela Secondary National Highway is finally taking its shape. Today, over 98% of the work is complete. The 80-kilometer highway is expected to be ready by the end of next month.
The project office is winding up the remaining side drain construction works along some stretches of the highway. After the completion of all the blacktopping works, the project office is currently executing works to construct 4 bridges along Gesarling and Sisithangkhola. The bridge construction works at Dare, Samarchu and Nirkhola are nearing completion and will be open to traffic by next month. Meanwhile, the construction of the Kumlung bypass is in full swing. The project officials are expecting to complete the Bailey Bridge by the second week of July this year. The Works and Human Settlement Ministry took over the bridge construction works a year ago after the concerned contractor failed to execute the bridge construction works. The highway construction works began in 2014, but the works were kept on hold for 2 years after some issues and allegations related to procurement emerged. The works then resumed in 2017. The project is being funded jointly by the government and the Netherlands Facility for Infrastructure Development. For Pemathong in Dagana, Sunampem for BBS News.
Residents of 3 gaoks of Thamaizinka, Karmaling and Yichala at Thamaizinka, Dungkak in Dagana are troubled by the erratic power supply. They say the power supply is not at all reliable, especially during the monsoon. People say the problem surfaced after the Bhutan Power Corporation started electric power distribution from Gedu substation beginning this year.
These are the scenes captured on Wednesday evening after the report of a power outage in the Dungkak. The power disruption has forced shopkeepers to lit candles and lamps to cater services to customers. And looking for candles has become almost an everyday task for the residents here. However, the power disruption is not happening for the first time.
Nimchina sanga sadu de tijong thu thuni ki time nalu beba je thu ni mindu light mi kati be ni mola ani dula ani ari line chaina bhani ke bhancha customer abo.
Often we have to close our shops early when there is a power outage. This affects our income and causes inconvenience to our customers.
It is very difficult to use gas stove for cooking in such a hot place in absence of reliable power supply. Moreover, it is very difficult for newborn babies without a fan. The erratic power supply has become a serious problem here.
light ko problem cha yaha
tele lalugina di the light train di gibeu dalu cooking dish hume na sir and this gara the electronic gara baume tele gas cylinder kanimi ba thete ani light mip dalu achila khatame ses sunis
Thamaizinka Gap Surja Bahadur Limbu said the power outage affects the Geog administration in providing timely services.
online ge tholi be ladi su gara bego pani बेउदालु ngachigi the laptop charge me the lok me बेउदालु दि ngachigi la khata mela dele ding ngachigi office na ekchana debe khomra mindu se sunbela the dele ding the almost ngachigi the worked on the zero jumbera jomme se sunbela.
According to the Bhutan Power Corporation office in Thamaizinka, they are aware of the problem. BPC officials said sudden heavy rainfall and windstorm has been causing faults to the power line meant for the Dungkak from Gedu in Chuka. Earlier, for some years, the distribution was from Tagachu. BPC officials added that they have been restoring the power supply at the earliest whenever there is a power outage, and there are plans to construct additional substation at Gedu. For Pemathong in Tagana, Sringzam, PBS News.
Food has a direct impact on a person's performance and productivity. According to international research and studies, not only can healthy foods provide energy, but also make a person happier, more engaged, and more creative. So to inculcate and implement healthy eating practices in the workplace in the country, the Health Ministry organized a sensitization workshop on Tuesday involving ministries, agencies, and corporations, among others.
Fruits, nuts and other healthy foods will be served as refreshment the next time you attend any official workshops or meetings. This one is at the Health Ministry's sensitization workshop for healthy eating organized yesterday for the various agencies. Given the considerable time people spend on the jobs, workplaces offer an opportunity to advocate for healthy eating. The ministry will kickstart healthy eating practices during official meetings, workshops and training, among others.
Unhealthy diets are served, for example, momo, and then that a lot of fries, which actually are not very healthy. So one of the key motive behind having this workshop is to advocate the importance of serving healthy refreshments and meals like fruits and vegetables.
Following the workshop, the participants are expected to further sensitize their office colleagues and educate them on healthy eating. According to the Non-Communicable Diseases Division under the Health Ministry, more than 85% of the Bhutanese do not consume enough fruits and vegetables. Bhutanese diet is dominated by carbohydrate groups like rice and potato, increasing the burden of non-communicable diseases or NCDs such as hypertension, diabetes and heart disease, among others. As per the Annual Health Bulletin 2020, NCDs accounted for more than 70% of the reported deaths in the country. Chonidama for BBS News.
And individual sexual orientation, gender identity and gender expression have not always been an open subject in the country. Members of the LGBTQ+ community have stood firm against social discrimination and saw hope when the parliament decriminalized homosexuality in 2020. Riding on this hope, there are now many individuals coming out in the open revealing their gender identity. It was not a smooth ride prior to this.
Meet Siringhamo Rinchen from Mongar. Popularly known as Poco among her friends, the 23-year-old first came out of her comfort zone in 2015 as gay. Born a male, she said she was always a feminine child and thought she was born in the wrong body. And in 2019, she revealed herself as a trans woman.
First thing I remember I said to my mom was that when I first came out gay bedalu, my mom was okay, no? Because Apama it belongs to educated family and then the second time was more scary for me to come out because gay bedeptalu, you have short hair, you're wearing male clothes. The transition to trans women that's a difficulty because I have to change everything. I have to change I have to throw away the clothes, I have to replace it with female thing, I have to wear makeup, I have to keep my hair long.
Apart from doing some part-time work as a freelance makeup artist, she currently is an outreach worker who looks after the welfare of the LGBTQ+ community at Pride Bhutan. She said the society has made significant progress in terms of acceptance.
Me this gets a low treat bedazon feel be trans women at a lab with drying. That was the image of trans women and time now. High school that time was the first time I learned what is sexual harassment, what is mental health. Because I was going through everything aniginando. I was getting sexually assaulted by the older kids more I guess. I was getting dragged in toilet nalepa, locked in toilet room nalepa, more chulu, I've been faced that.
According to Pride Bhutan, an entity that looks after same-sex rights, registered members have increased compared to the past due to more exposure and awareness. The Parliament's decision to decriminalize homosexuality in 2020 also played a big role. From just close to 120 members in 2020, there are more than 300 registered members today.
The number of the LGBTQ community people are increasing because of the awareness and the advocacy is conducted by Pride Bhutan. I think that is the core reason.
The Hema Pewachin, why people not coming out? Gachibi Mawam Plawachin, LGBT code because they lack knowledge in that. Now young generations coming up because the registered members are mostly young ones in Bate who have access to internet. Basically knowledge plays a very big role in Bianalo. The Anbibid right now the members are increasing because of that, because their self-acceptance high asitabin.
LGBTQ+, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and queer, is also known as the color community. With acceptance and awareness, the community is anticipating more individuals embracing their gender identity. Kyalzang Chodin, BBS News.
There are stories and evidences of sexual harassment, molestation and eve-teasing by coaches, officials and fellow athletes in sports in Western countries. Although such mishaps are not reported in Bhutan for now, the Bhutan Olympic Committee launched the first Safe Spots policy in Thimphu on Wednesday. The policy aims to prevent and respond to harassment and abuse against all involved in sports.
The types of harassment and abuse in sports include psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual harassment and neglect, where a coach or another person with a duty of care towards the athletes fails to shoulder the responsibility. As per the policy, any alleged incidents of harassment and abuse shall be reported either to persons designated by sports federations, associations, Bhutan Olympic Committee or safeguarding officers, Athletes Commission of Bhutan and the Gender Equity Committee. In an event of harassment or abuse, victims can email or report in person to relevant officials. A committee will review the complaint and based on the review report, actions will be taken accordingly.
As of now, I don't think there has been major athlete or coaches related social issues, but we want to make sure we avoid that, and we also believe to a certain extent that a lot of problems or issues goes underreported. Athletes might be getting abused economically or physically, but then it might go underreported because there isn't a framework or a policy to safeguard these type of issues.
13 federations and 5 associations signed a memorandum of understanding with member affiliates of the Bhutan Olympic Committee to endorse the policy. This is the first comprehensive safe sports policy developed to safeguard athletes and officials since the inception of BOC in 1983. The policy was developed by the Athletes Commission of Bhutan and the Gender Equity Committee with support from the Olympic Solidarity upon the command received from BOC's President, His Royal Highness Prince Jigel Ugen Wangchuk, in November 2020. Olympic Solidarity is one of the International Olympic Committee's commissions that organizes assistance the IOC gives to the National Olympic Committees to help develop sports in their countries. Thringdandup, BBS News.
That is all we have for this week. Thank you for watching.